We are taking a closer look at the Democratic candidates vying to replace Dick Durbin in the U.S. Senate. Tonight, political reporter Chris Tye sits down with Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
Dick Durbin's seat is so attractive, 3 of Illinois' most well-known elected officials are giving up their current spots to run for it. Among them, Lieutenant Governor of Illinois and former state representative Juliana Stratton, whose approach to fixing the immigration crisis sounds like this.
So to me, we need to really focus on abolishing ICE. We need to prosecute those agents that have committed crimes. We need to prosecute them and hold them accountable.
To use the phrase abolish ICE is sort of a mallet. And some might say this requires more of a scalpel because ICE does more than just the things you're enumerating.
And what I'm saying is that ICE cannot be reformed in my book. It cannot be reformed.
Can you give us 2 examples of how you are different than your chief competitors?
Well, there are several differences between me and my opponents. First of all, I'm the only candidate in this race that has represented the entire state of Illinois. And that leads to the second big thing, and that is that we have delivered for the people of Illinois consistently in the things that really matter to people. We've raised wages, we have protected women's reproductive freedom, and made Illinois really an island for reproductive rights in the Midwest.
You're on record as saying there's nothing you can think of that you agree with Donald Trump on. Do you still stand behind that?
Yes. Donald Trump is not a normal president. He is not a normal person. And I don't put him in the category of someone who comes to the table in good faith, trying to do what's best for the American people. He wants to be a dictator.
Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana.
Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana.
Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana.
They said it, not me. I'm Juliana Stratton, and I'm proud to have lived my whole life on the south side of Chicago. I'm not scared of a wannabe dictator. I'm running for Senate to stand up to Donald Trump. I'll abolish ICE and hold Trump accountable for the crimes he's committed. Just like they said, fuck
Trump.
Fuck Trump.
Fuck Trump.
Vote Juliana.
That's why I approve this message.
Illinois Democrats are clashing over how far they would go to combat President Trump and how they would govern if they retake power. Last week, we showed you where Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy stands on ICE and federal immigration enforcement. Now we turn to the candidate calling for the boldest break of all. Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton sat down one-on-one with our political editor, Mark Maxwell, as early voting begins this week. He joins us with what stood out and what voters will need to weigh as they head to the polls.
Yeah, Kelly, abolish ICE is a memorable call. It's a memorable rallying cry. And Juliana Stratton's call to abolish ICE is certainly the clearest line we've seen any candidate draw yet in this race, at least when it comes to rhetoric. But because governing requires more than simple slogans, I asked her what that policy would look like on the ground. On a recent debate stage, Juliana Stratton looked to set herself apart from the field.
We need to abolish ICE, period.
After deadly federal shootings in Minnesota, Democrats have ramped up pressure on the Trump administration to change course. Stratton's rivals, Raja Krishnamurthy and Robin Kelly, echoed Senator Dick Durbin's calls to reform ICE.
We need to have a reform of that agency.
In a Monday morning interview, I asked Stratton what her plan would look like in a practical sense. Voters deserve to know what happens when the chants end. If ICE disappears tonight, who's actually doing the job tomorrow? Who shows up when a judge orders a deportation or issues a warrant, or someone overstays a visa?
We've only had this ICE and the way that ICE and CBP is operating right now since 2003. So we haven't always had it.
Congress created ICE in the Department of Homeland Security in the aftermath of the 9/11 terror attacks. You're suggesting we go back to before that?
Well, look at what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a paramilitary force that has really been put in place now as a private police force for President Donald Trump. This agency cannot be reformed as is.
Senator Durbin would not go that far. If there was a bill on your desk to abolish ICE, how would you vote?
Part of the agency has responsibility that is legitimate. It's been abused by the Trump administration and Secretary Noem. We can change the agency for the better and do it without rewarding those who abused it.
Is he wrong?
Well, I believe we should abolish ICE, and I've been very clear about that.
So back to my first question, who does the work then?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're talking about issues about fentanyl or others, We have a DEA. We have other agencies that we can look at to say, where does this best fit and who are the people who should do it? But we should not see a paramilitary force on our streets.
Why do you do this to me? Honestly, why do you do this to me? Why do I do this to myself? So I was looking up some stuff while Miss Juliana Stratton was talking. First of all, just background, it makes sense. Lieutenant Governor of Illinois, the natural progression is to find a seat of more power. So she's running for the Senate seat. Real fast, she's not going to win. I'll tell you that right now. She's not leading in literally a single poll at all whatsoever that's been drawn for that territory. So she's not going to make it through. She said so many lies during what she said just now. And if they're not lies, then it's even more concerning for her character. She said that there is nothing at all that she can agree with Trump on. Trump has done things that even on both sides of the aisle, they've agreed with. For example, the fact that he pushed out, though a lot of people don't like this part, pushed out a lot of the vaccines during Operation Warp Speed. Pretty much every single Democrat liked that. When it comes to civil service, right, and increasing the benefits for them, when it comes to a lot of the policies that have assisted veterans, for example, she doesn't agree with any of them. That's that emotional rhetoric that we hear of a lot of politicians do, saying these extreme statements because they sound great. People who don't like Trump because they've been told not to like Trump are going to hear that and say, yes, girl, absolutely. I don't agree with anything either. I was going to say what Minister Danzell always says, which is when they say these dumb things, ask them a follow-on question. She said we should abolish ICE. And I was hoping that I would get a chance to say it, but the guy up here just asked her, okay, so what's your plan? I want you to ask the next individual that says get rid of ICE. Just ask them the end of the line question. Do you think we should have borders that should be enforced? Or is this a game of tag back when we were kids that once you get to base, you can no longer be touched anymore? So we'll have borders, we'll have border patrol, but if you get into the United States, you win. Sorry, we didn't get you this time, right? Maybe another generation. Someone has to do that job. INS was the answer she was looking for, by the way. It's really sad that I know that and I'm not running for office and she is running for office and she doesn't know that. Before ICE, it was the Immigration and Naturalization Service is what that stood for. So we've always had somebody who enforces people who come across the border illegally and stay inside of this country. When she says paramilitary, I don't think she knows what that word means. I really don't. Until ICE has Hellfire missiles, Tomahawks, and tanks, they're not operating as a military force. Military forces are designed to, excuse me if I can't say this on YouTube, kill the enemy and take control. Anybody in the Army, I know I gave you flashbacks just now. Hey, holla at me, right? But that's what the job is. We're not doing that. I don't think ICE is going out there and saying, hey, you're brown. There's other immigrants, by the way, but we don't talk about those if we're on CNN. You're brown and I'm going to shoot you. That's not a paramilitary force. But again, sounds fantastic. It elicits emotions. It means that, yes, we're on the right side. I don't think that she's going to wind up winning. I don't think that she should win. I'm not even going to talk about the commercial. I'll let somebody else do it. That is what political professionalism looks like in 2026.
I get sick of these people who the only thing that comes out their mouth is I'm going to defy Trump. I'm going to stand up to Trump. What exactly are you going to be doing? I'm so sick. Is that your only solution to every single thing? Chicago has so much issues with homicide running rampant. And as she said, I come from the south side of Chicago. You from the south side of Chicago. Why aren't you talking about that? You're not using your platform to talk about that. You want to talk about I'm gonna stand up to Trump, and none of his policies I agree with. None of the things he's done I agree with. As somebody put in there, so clearly you didn't, as a Black woman, since you want to be Black, you don't approve of the HBCU funding. I guess you don't approve of that, or the First Step Act. You don't approve of that, or the Opportunity Zones. You don't approve of that. Trump has done so much, but because they walk around in this TDS mindset. And it's so irritating. And I wish I really thought about her because I'd have probably added her to the Gutter Bunny list. You know, she might be an honorable mention for the Gutter Bunny list because what kind of commercial is that? Like you're supposed to represent the country and y'all drop the F-bombs like it's the word what? Like why? I don't understand. And then you set up the commercial to be like that. Why? That is so offensive. That is disgusting. Mm-hmm. You look like trash. You absolutely look like trash. And this is why I said to people, that is why you seek God. Stop aligning with party foolishness. This is what gets you into problems. Chicago looks like Chicago. Illinois look like Illinois because of people like that. As somebody put in the comments, that is why Chicago Bears is looking to move to Indiana. Yeah. Let's call them Indiana Bears.
Indiana Bears.
Because, let's be real. Clearly, she said, we have done so much for Chicago. Have you? Have you though? Again, people need to do their research and stop listening to these ridiculous people. I can't stand that. And this is why more Christians, more people with common sense need to stop hiding and get up and run for office. Please. Because this is the foolishness that is out there. Thank God for Flip Red, for Flip
Yeah, for
Chicago Red.
Chicago Flip Red. Yeah.
And I see they now have Flip Philly Red. Listen, I
Yeah.
support all that because we need to keep doing that because it's time to get rid of this blue trash. That's what I'm gonna call it, blue trash. It's a lot of blue trash. Let's get rid of it.
Unfortunately, that's all Democrats have to offer, man. No policy, because you didn't hear that. No actual agenda. You didn't hear that. Nothing but, just vulgar language and slogans with very little substance. That's pretty much all you're going to get out of Democrats. I mean, Jasmine Crockett's running. We still hadn't heard what her agenda is. And she's been running now at this point now for 3 or 4 months now for this Senate seat.
Yeah.
But she will tell anybody that will listen, hey, I'm a black woman. And now the Democrats are racist now because they coming after her and she's not getting the support that she feels she deserves from the party.
I just want to put it out there, guys. When it comes to politics, I'm still bored of it. They're playing games with us. So when I see all of this mess, I'm in agreement with a lot of what the panelists have already said. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I do feel like they are playing tag with sanctuary cities. If you get to a sanctuary city, then you don't have to deal with ICE. They're making up their own rules as they go. They don't care about the borders as a whole. They can give 2 flying sugar honey iced teas about that. But they're playing games because of what's more lucrative to them. It's all about making money. We can't forget that this country was started as a corporation. And that's exactly what it is, first and foremost. And the people that they want to win are the white man. That's who it was created for. Even the women weren't considered real people. We were 3/5, I believe, black people. But it's all about the white man getting super rich. And I don't know if it's to certain groups, I'm not going to say. But I think it's all a game and we're not a part of it. We're not heavy donors. We don't, unless we got tens of millions, well, at this point, billions in the game, we're not considered for any of the moves that they decide to make. Now, as far as the commercial goes, I think that was pure trash. How do you represent a strong, beautiful, black, successful woman who's leading, who's trying to make that beautiful city of Chicago run the way it's supposed to run without all of the killings and everything? But you want to claim nothing but victories. That's a straight up lie. It's an outright lie. We've seen a lot going on out there. And the fact that you want to blame ICE on everything, no, you got to blame yourselves first. What y'all are seeing right now, Democrats, is an overcorrection. You guys open up the borders. You guys let tens of millions of people in this country and try to reprimand any border states if they did something about it. You did this. So now what you're seeing is you're seeing extra force. There's a thing called, I believe this. If you smack my food out my hand, you can't tell me then how to respond. All right? If I'm walking through the cafeteria and somebody clip me up and I drop my food, they can't tell me whether or not I should slap the hell out of them. Because, look, you hurt me. This is what you guys did to the country. Y'all show blatant disregard to other Americans by bringing in all of these people that we cannot follow. We don't know who they are. They commit a crime. We don't know which one did it. They released them early. They go do it again because it's just a game to them. This country is just a game to them. As we just now saw not too long ago, this lady was so pissed off that her husband was taking my ice. He'd been here for 30 years. I'm like, your husband been here for 30 years? So they're taking advantage of the systems. They don't care about us at this point. They can use the illegal immigrants to help bankroll them for whatever they're working on. They try to slide it inside of the border bill under funding Ukraine or whatever, but they don't give a daggone about us. It's all about their wallets. And right now, she's absolutely right. The only thing that mean anything to her is being able to fatten the pockets of other black people in Chicago. As far as the crime goes, we don't care. I was able to send some contracts my girl way and my soror's way and everybody else's way. And other than that, because I know the daggone secret, I talk to a lot of people who are gatekeepers, who are in charge of federal contracts, and their friends get 10,000 contracts. You get one, you get one, you get one. Am I lying?
No, you ain't lying.
You're not.
At the end of the day, this is all about bankrolling their friends. They don't care about American citizens. And at this point, man, I don't trust none of them as far as I can throw them. And I'm only 150, soaking wet. I'm still struggling to push up 225 on the bench, man. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you.
Hey, you're going to get there, though.
Close,
you're going to get there. Hey, 2 wagon wheels. It's going to happen for you one day.
Thank you, brother. I'm getting close, man.
Hey, listen, I appreciate everything that everyone said, and I'm down with you 100%. But let me just say this. You notice this politician, she's pumping, she's using the collateral, she's using the collateral, she's using the momentum that they got from mass producing the ICE deaths, mass creating a martyr complex, mass producing the ICE victim, people who lost their lives as victims, and just God-fearing, good American citizens being gunned down by ICE. They mass produced those optics, and they were very successful. That's why these politicians can run on that kind of thing, because the media did their job. And I have to say this, I don't think our side did a sufficient job destroying that narrative. We let them build that narrative because everything you saw was them. Now, I've seen videos where people from those communities were saying they never came to us, people who agreed with ICE, who wanted ICE to be there, who wanted ICE to do their job. The media never covered them. They never covered them. And I kept saying that the people who were for ICE should have been out there in the streets and droves, just like those protesters were. They weren't there.
Yeah.
And well, they got jobs, Minister Danzel.
No, I know that. No,
they got jobs. These folks are being paid to be out there. Those folks that you're talking about got jobs.
I know that. You're absolutely right. That makes it easier for the criminals to do what they were doing. But my point is that, listen, when it's something this important and you don't make yourself seen. Now, remember, people don't work all day long. They get that nighttime, they get together, they can come up with some kind of plan to get some people out there. If they can pay people to come out there, why couldn't we? Point is that the optics were on their side, and now they're using that to benefit them politically. All I'm saying is that we have to come up with a better strategy to not let them be the only ones seen out on those streets, proclaiming what they're saying, because that's what gives this kind of criminal politician the collaterals they need to make themselves look like they're doing something for the people. My point is they're lying. We know they're lying, but we need that other option. You can't, when you only have one side being seen in the streets and promoting a specific agenda, you give other people who are on the fence the idea that that's the truth. My point is that this is a war of information. And I gotta say this too, that you remember how they made these people martyrs, and no one hardly ever talked about the crimes they were committing that got them killed. They would not have been dead had they not violated the law. And the media, even on our side, didn't do a sufficient job to promote the fact that these people out there violating the law. They were violating the law, and they were in the face of ICE violating laws and interfering with what they were doing and causing this kind of disruption. If that had been efficiently and sufficiently promoted, they wouldn't be so effective. That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to get a point across that this lady stands on and she says she lied that Trump is a dictator. He's like I said, they're saying it, no proof. But see, if you only create one narrative, he can look like a dictator. When you see an ICE agent shooting a citizen, and then you say Trump is causing that can look like dictatorship. All I'm saying, we got to do better with our response to that so that we don't let them look like they're making sense when they aren't.
Yes, I don't think this woman is running for an elected position. However, I do think she is auditioning as a cult leader because she has disqualified herself with the electorate with that commercial. The whole F Trump trope does two things. First of all, it shows it shows that you do not have or you lack intellectual prowess. That's the first. And the second is it demonstrates that you do not have any emotional restraint. Both of those things are needed in leadership. And so the commercial itself, in my opinion, is disqualifying. However, if you listen to what she said further in the interviews, when she started saying Trump was not a normal president, well, that's very dangerous language.
Thank you.
It's been used many times in the past as justification for usually harm to do to someone. It is giving permission, because what you are saying is the normal protocols that would be given to someone in this position should not be given to him, because he is outside of that, which means we now can behave outside of the normal behavior we have. That is dangerous when people talk that way, which is why I think this woman is looking, and probably will get, if she does get any votes, a cult following. But broader than that, when people are saying, why are they running on this? First of all, you should expect to see this exact type of thing all over the country. And there's a couple of reasons why this is happening. First of all, Democrats, very strategic, learned with Obama when he said hope and change, that running on a slogan with no specifics is successful. And they are trying to find a way to recreate the success they had with Obama, where they gave up no specifics, no real agenda, no actual, this is how I'm going to accomplish these things, but just this charismatic belief and hope and change. And he was able, I don't know if he, put a spell, I don't know what he did, but he was able to get people to just go, oh my God, this is great, and vote for him. They have never forgotten that. And they are trying always to figure out how to recreate that. And the second thing is really the real problem. And their real problem is, it's not that they don't have an agenda. The Democrats absolutely, positively, 100% have an agenda, but they have an agenda they cannot say out loud. I talked about this in my Ask Me Anything. Woodrow Wilson said they better not speak above their breath in condemnation of it. The fact of the matter is, their agenda is to manage the decline of the American people, to reduce our quality of life, deprive us of private property, and impoverish us so that we can be subjugated to global elites. That is it. That is all. There is nothing else. Everything else you see flows from that. So if you want to know why we have our artificial inflation, that is why. If you want to know why we have illegal immigration, that is why. If you want to know why Christians and churches are being attacked and had to close during COVID, when strip clubs and liquor stores could thrive, that is why. Everything we do points back to that exact same idea. That's all there is, but they cannot say it. So they have to be and they don't mind sounding as stupid and as perplexed and as word salady as they can, because what they can never do is come out and tell you the truth. But that is the truth. They have an agenda. They just don't have one they can tell voters, but they do have rhetoric for cult members.
I want to hear from you guys in the comment sections. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family, or you can buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Join us Tuesday, Friday for ARP in the morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if it's your first time in the chat, please let us know so we can properly welcome you to the show. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.